What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop. So park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you see a Patreon account. If you click it, you become a member. All you got to do is try to recommend movies and music and trailers for me to react to. So click the damn link. Now, with that being said, we are here today with a special guest, Senor Del Boy,
Hello,
in
how
the
you doing?
building.
I've retired, but I've come out of retirement just for this again because this sounds like so much fun. I feel like we got to do it. I really like stuff like this. You know, where fighting against each other. You know, randomly picking, not fighting against each other, but randomly picking two characters to go at it. I love this.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
Yeah, the random encounters is a really good idea because you never know who you're going to get. You could
We've
get
been
something that's super lopsided, and then you're going to have to try to justify it somehow, some way, trying to figure out like how this person can even remotely win. So
yeah.
it's fun. So let's see. The two. Well, if you guys don't know, the Terrordome is an episode where we pick, especially the random encounter edition, where we pick two randomly selected horror characters, and we're going to have them do battle against each other, and we're going to see who wins. So, without further ado, let's spin that motherfucking wheel. And the first person up is Victor Crowley from the Hatchet series, Hatchet 1, 2, and 3, and also
Not
the
him again.
self-entitled movie Victor Crowley. But I have only watched Hatchet 1, so
Yeah.
I'm only going to stick to Hatchet 1. So, how do you feel about Victor Crowley being the first contestant for battle, Mr.
You
Del
know
Boy?
how I feel about that guy already because we had this already. For anyone who hasn't seen, we've done a previous video, Madman Mars against Victor Crowley, and
Which
you
was a
know
pretty fun matchup.
it was, but I was siding with Madman Mars. You know, so now we've got him again. All right, let's do it.
Again, you can't escape him. All right, let's see. Let's spin that motherfucker wheel one more time. All right, we have Michael Myers from Halloween 5 and 6. Now, the thing that I want to tell you is this. There's a reason why I put Halloween 5 and 6. It's because this is the Thorn Michael Myers, all right? And if you guys don't know who the Thorn Michael Myers is, it's the supernatural one. Michael Myers in part 1 and 2 is believed to be a human, and in 4, 5, and 6, he's supernatural, right? But it's not really explored in 4, but it's mostly explored in 5 and 6. But today, I want to focus more so along the lines of part 6. And the reason I want to focus on part 6 is because I feel like this is Michael Myers kind of like at his peak Thorn form. That sounds funny as hell.
Most
But yeah,
supernatural sort of thing.
yeah, because I mean, really, when you really think about it, like he's hell. I don't know if you noticed it, but in part 6, he's hella aggressive. Like he seems really aggressive in part 6.
Yeah, I mean,
Like really compared to like the previous films, he's a lot more. He's a lot more aggressive in that movie. I mean, the whole part about him hitting the dude's head against the freaking uh, the bars and trying to push his skull through it, and him killing everybody in the freaking lab. This Michael Myers is a lot more like aggressive. I don't know, but anyway, this is a supernatural Michael Myers. So we have a supernatural Michael Myers facing off against a supernatural revenant, which is Victor Crowley. So this is going to be either a dance for eternity, or we're going to have to put some stipulations on this in order to make it work. So, but again, I want to focus on Halloween 6 because I feel like it'll be easier to I feel like that's his most supernatural movie. And in order to get kind of like a really good understanding and compare the two movies, I feel like we should pick one in order to really balance the two, especially because I haven't really seen all of the Hatchet movies. So I can't put the Hatchet trilogy or the 4 Hatchet movies versus the 3 Thorn movies.
and
So
Michael Myers has got so many different versions of him too, so it's probably the best match, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
I haven't seen the rest as well, but with his supernatural abilities is probably the best
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially in this series. But so yeah, so quick synopsis. I'll do Victor Crow. I'll do Hatchet. You could do, since you've recently rewatched the Thorn trilogy for Halloween, so you could give us kind of like a quick synopsis of what the trilogy entails. But anyway, so Hatchet, this is a comedy horror movie. All right, it's a comedy horror movie. It doesn't take itself serious. It's about this dad who his son is kind of like, I guess, like a little bit mental, like he's a little mentally handicapped, and he accidentally hits his son in the head with a damn hatchet. Because I think somebody lit the cabin on fire, and he's trying to get inside the cabin in order to save his son. And I think he strikes his son in the head with the hatchet by accident or something like that. Son ends up coming back alive, and he basically, what he does is he protects the swamp. That's the story, right? I believe so, right? Something like that.
yeah.
All right.
Something like
It's not like the most creative story. It's not the greatest story, but at the same time, it is what it is. This movie is, like I said, it's a horror comedy. It's not really taking itself serious, but the movie is filled with a lot of blood, guts, and ass. Like there's a whole lot of killing in that movie. And I think, although like it's really just like a love letter to like the cheesy, horrible 80s. Like when you see these can't be B movies in the 80s, and it was a horrible freaking story, but it just had a monster and some dope ass practical effects. And I think that's just what they were kind of going with Victor Crowley and the Hatchet series. I don't think they were really trying to take themselves too seriously. They weren't really trying to wow you with a story and acting. They were just trying to give they're basically trying to give themselves a reason to blow some shit up or to tear people apart or things like that. So that's essentially just a quick synopsis of the Hatchet series. Well, the Hatchet number one. So you want to do Halloween 6, or you want to just kind of give like a quick
I'll
overview of
give
what
it.
the hell the Thorn
I
trilogy
feel
is?
like I'll just give the 4, 5, and 6 quickly because I feel like they're kind of one, because one doesn't seem to have a whole story on its own because they barely have a story, if you ask me. And whatever story
Yeah,
it has,
because that's considered the Thorn trilogy.
yeah, I know,
That explains
right?
how Michael Myers is able to keep coming back alive.
So
So go
Michael
ahead.
gets out. I mean, Michael gets out again, as we know,
He
and
survived being blown up in part 2, by the
yeah,
way.
and then he gets away, and what's it? Donald Pleasant Loomis is on his case again, and it turns out um, he's after his niece. He's trying to track
Jamie.
down his niece, which would be Laurie Strode's daughter, and she's dead. I think from childbirth. Is it? I don't know. It just went over my head that bit. Anyway, so he's trying to kill her. Generic, but in the background, there's a dark hatted man stroke cowboy, and he's turning up with a tattoo, and it's the Thorn. It turns out that they are using him. They're using Michael Myers to capture his niece to have sex with her, to have a child for some fucking reason I don't really know, and it's a bit it's a bit crazy, and obviously that's the best I can say because I don't fucking know what was going on. I swear to God, I don't know. Right? These films were bad, yeah, and
Yeah.
I like Michael Myers. I mean, he's awesome, but this is all over the place. As I say, 5, she's mute because of the shock of the last one, and they retcon the end of her killing her mum or her mother, foster mum. And then
Yeah.
we go full on jump a few years. We have Ant-Man is on it. What's his name? Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
And then you've got like, what was it? I don't know, but the cult is on full force, and Loomis is now. I have this. It turns out I've seen the theatrical version of it,
Yeah.
and
So did you saw the version where Loomis, like they just show Michael Myers' mask and the little needle and he goes, that's the one you saw?
yeah, it looks like it. I think that's the one I
Okay.
saw. Because the other one, all I know is it turns out Loomis is part of the cult.
No, he ends up becoming like Michael Myers, like not bodyguard, but like watcher.
All
So
right.
the dude with the hat apparently is like Michael Myers, like babysitter in a way. And what ends up happening is when he dies, somebody else has to watch Michael Myers. Like somebody else becomes a babysitter. So apparently
Right.
Loomis in the director's cut becomes Michael Myers' bodyguard or like babysitter.
Well, sorry about the synopsis. It's the best I can do because it's been a while and I just couldn't figure it out half the time. And like even the part 6, what we're talking about is that it took me ages to realize that was actually the grown ass. I think her name was Jamie, Daniela.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Daniela
her.
Harris's character.
And
Yeah,
then I was like, she's pregnant, and hold on, whose kid is it? Do you know? And it's like, what? It's it Michael's? It's what the hell? And then this cult was in and out. It felt like it was all over the place. The pacing was terrible, and it was just ended. And it was like,
and basically they were trying to pass that evil onto that kid, Steven.
I
I
don't
think that was
know.
his name.
I don't
All right,
know.
so look,
Like going brain dead towards the end. I don't know. I'd probably have to
yeah.
watch it again.
Long story short, there's like this freaking cult. There's two versions. All right, one, there's a cult that basically is trying to like. Michael Myers is apparently possessed by this thing called the Thorn. The Thorn is like this supernatural being or something that grants the person like supernatural powers. He's invulnerable. He doesn't die very easily. Things that would normally kill a human being, like it doesn't kill him or whatever. And what ends up happening is that I guess like there's like a resting period. Like basically like these rituals only happen on Halloween, where it's something about wiping out your bloodline. But anyway, to the point. One version, they were trying to just capture the essence of Michael Myers' evil and then transport it into other like fetuses and other kids.
Oh,
And
right.
in the in one of the versions, I forgot which one, that boy Steven, he was one of the experiments that actually went right, because remember he was having little flashes kind of like Jamie did. And that's because they were able to put the essence in him. And then what was happening was when Michael Myers finally completes his task by killing whoever, then it would be passed on to the next generation, and that person would start to begin their killing spree or whatever. So
I did have
that's the idea.
Yeah, I did have a good idea while I was watching it. And
Yeah.
right, so they were talking about, you know, this sign that's aligned with the stars, that the tattoo
The Thorn.
sign,
Yeah.
which Michael Myers seems to leave behind when he's killed someone at some point, which I thought, all right. But anyway, wouldn't it have been cool if they tied that in with Halloween?
Halloween 3.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing because of the druids, right?
it was just kind of somehow tied it in where they've been using him all this time to do other kind of bad shit as well. Like, you know, and I know because they brought all this signs, and he says there's markings all over the world on rocks and on wood and on trees and stuff. And I was like, that sounds like part 3, you know.
It sounds like Halloween 3. I was thinking exactly the same
yeah,
thing.
you know, and then you
Druids
could
and
have,
things.
yeah, and then people would have go back to part 3 and enjoyed it more, you know. But you know,
Yeah.
just the way it is.
But I think the other version was that the cult members were people in the town, like the town of Haddonfield, and basically they were like trying to something like they were trying to pass the curse on to somebody else. I don't know, for some reason they were trying to pass the curse on to like the next generation or something like that, or they were trying to prevent it from going to one kid and they wanted to put it into somebody else to continue. I don't know. I don't remember, but all I know is that like in the grand scheme of things, the director's cut makes more sense than the theatrical cut, even though both are still stupid.
Incoherent. The whole film was
Even though both are really stupid and they're both still stupid as shit, the theatrical cut seems to make the director's cut seems to make more sense. They just tried to explain something, and honestly, they probably should have just kept it as like a mystery of why he's able to do these things. Like they didn't really need to explain anything, but hey, it is what it is. But so yeah, so those are the two movies. Quick synopsis of both movies and kind of like the series for Halloween at least. But so what the question is, if you had to choose between Halloween 6 and Hatchet, the first one, which one would you consider the better movie? Yeah,
I didn't like Hatchet, as you know, but for anyone,
I know you didn't like Hatchet.
I didn't like the film that much. I didn't mind the kills and I didn't mind the character too much, but it's the last half an hour and you've got to get through a lot, yeah, for that shit. But anyway, as I said, I don't know.
Okay, if you had to I know this is gonna be hard because it's hard as hell for me. If you had like, let's say you went to Blockbuster or some shit, and it was just like you needed to watch a movie, you wanted to watch a movie. The only thing they got is Hatchet and Halloween 6, which one are you taking home to watch?
Looks like I'm watching nothing tonight. I'll be like, no,
You had to take one. Your life depends on it.
maybe
Don't say you're gonna
Halloween
die.
6.
Halloween 6? Okay. So
Yeah,
Halloween 6 nudges
I
by
mean,
like
that's
barely.
not saying much at all. And I might change my mind later on, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah,
I'm gonna go with Hatchet. And the reason I'm gonna go with Hatchet is because like Hatchet was very self-aware. It knew it was a terrible movie. It played into the comedy and it knew what it was trying to be. Halloween, the Thorn trilogy specifically tried to in a explain why Michael Myers was the way that he was. These
and
people had time to sit down and try to figure something out that logically made sense. And what it ended up doing was making the audiences even more confused. Like there was so many people that left the movie theater. I've read articles about people that left the movie theater when Halloween 5 and 6 came out, and they were like, "What the fuck did I just watch?" You know. And then even now, like we still have to like piece together like our understanding of what the Thorns trilogy was like, and we have to kind of try to figure things out on our own because they did such a bad job at storytelling. And it's like
right,
if
yeah,
this was the return of Michael Myers, right? And this is the grand story that you chose to tell. I mean, you just did it in a horrible manner because it's like now you've confused the audience. You tried to give them supernatural elements, which I mean, again, I appreciate it. Like Michael being in a cult, that's all right. I don't mind. But at the same time, it's like the way they decided to go about it, the way they decided to try to like continue it, it was horribly done. It's a stupid movie. And not to mention Michael Myers' mask looks terrible in those fucking movies, by the way, especially part 6. That shit looks dumb. Um
I I
so
think 5 was worse, but
the 5 mask, right?
I think 5 was worse than 6, and I
Oh,
thought
you mean
4 was
just
bad.
as a movie, or are you talking about the
No, no,
mask?
sorry, the mask, right? So
Oh, okay.
4, all right. So 4, well, I thought the whole thing was stupid. I was like, the mask wasn't that good, but he was looked like he was wearing padding, and he wasn't a big dude, and it didn't make him look
Yeah.
bigger. But it didn't look like good padding. It looked like they just put in kind of like anything, like paper or something. Yeah, and I was like, it's stupid. Get to 5, and his mask look, what the hell? And they tried to give him longer hair on it, and I was like, oh. 6, bit better. The mask,
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
of
yeah.
he was probably the best in 6. How he looked.
But I'm just the
I
biggest
think
thing I want
4
to
was
say
the
is
best.
that it's crazy how you have the same, like you have access to the same thing from part 1. Why does this mask look so bad? Part 1 is like the one of the best looking
I
masks.
have. I think I know why. Yeah,
Why?
when a director, producers, different directors, they want to put their own mark on something, their version of this. You know what I mean? They want to. It's like Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire. You don't know this, but the second suit is actually different from the first. It looks exactly the same. A lot of people, they want to up change it so they can sell more toys or they can sell more things, or sometimes the creator want it to look different to the ones that was already created. This is my one, this is
And
what
one
I
of the
made.
masks has a long ass neck, like the neck
Yeah,
sticks out like it
that's
flares.
5. That's 5, and it was
Okay.
like hanging
Yeah.
off him. Looked like, yeah, it was just shit. But I will say I enjoyed 4 more than 5 and 6, and I
Oh
5
yeah,
was
yeah.
6. I thought 6 was the worst. The only reason I picked 6 over Hatchet
Victor
is
Hatchet.
because as much as the kills are better in Hatchet, and at the last half an hour, it's quick, it's fun. The first hour is these generic silly characters, which I know is supposed to be having fun with it, but let's get to the fun. Let's see the carnage. There's no real carnage until the last 30 minutes, even maybe 20.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's one bit at the start, but that's it. And I'm like, with Halloween, there's a lot to think about in Halloween 6, even though, because it makes your brain go, what the hell? And you're trying to work it out. There's consistent parts where you see Michael in between the movie. You don't really see Victor Crowley until the end, and that's the bit I want to see. I don't give a shit about these. I know the whole point is, well, we're not supposed to give a shit. Yeah, you're right, but not for a whole hour. It's like, oh,
I think Victor Crowley's character pops up more in the sequels because like now he's established, because at first he was just an urban legend, he's a myth, you have to do the build up, right? And then once he presents himself, then it's like, okay, like he's picking us off, then you have to go to the conclusive part, which is how do we stop him, and I think the next one is just like, okay, he's still
I mean,
here. How do we
yeah,
stop him?
maybe. It's just oh, also I noticed that, do you know I don't know if you know this, but Halloween 6 is, I think, 6 years after Halloween 5. 6 whole years.
Yeah.
And Halloween 4 and 5 are a year between each other,
How
you
did
know?
they get? Did they ever explain how they kidnapped Jamie in order to have her
Um
artificially inseminated by Michael?
no, they just
It just opens up with her running with the baby, right?
yeah, they kidnapped her and all that.
Yeah.
But
See, this is what I'm saying. That's that.
I
Okay,
feel
that's what
like
I'm talking
there's
about.
there's a better story in there to be told, but
No, the story could have been way better. It's crazy that
it's just
I've seen
weird. It was all over the place, and it was just
I've
shit.
seen fans come up with better ways to tie in that story versus like what they actually did. That's why I got to give it the hatchet. Like again, it's just like the new Halloween trilogy, right? I'm okay. Like it's not okay that you gave me like the last movie, even though like I was okay with it. Like the movie was okay, but it's not good that you have a movie that's supposed to be the end of the fight between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, and there is no Michael Myers. It doesn't make any sense to me. But
Oh,
so in that regard, it's badly done. But you
yeah,
know, and then this movie is the same thing. It's badly done. You're supposed to take these three movies and you're supposed to explain to the audience in a way
exactly,
that they understand
exactly.
why Michael Myers
The
is the way that
three
he is. And
movies to do that. Yeah,
you got to
yeah,
the third movie and
three
they couldn't
movies
do
to
it.
do it. Yeah.
They
Also,
couldn't
they
do
had
it.
6 years in between one to figure out what to do with it, and it was just all right.
Yeah.
But they're both shit. But anyway, I know
So
people.
now here we go. Where the moment everybody's been waiting for. These two fighters or combatants have entered the Terrordome. Michael Myers or Victor Crowley, I don't know, one of these mofos then stumbled into Haddonfield, or freaking Michael Myers then got dropped in the middle of a swamp in Louisiana. I don't care, right? This is Michael Myers who's been super powered by the thorn. Um, do we want to give Michael access to his weapon? You know what's dumb as shit? Michael Myers had a shotgun in one of these movies, and instead of shooting him, he stabbed him with the fucking shotgun. That shit made no sense. But anyway, do we want to give Michael Myers access to any of his weapons from? Yeah, let's do that. He could have access to any fucking weapons from part 4, 5, or 6. That's the scythe. That's a pitchfork. There's an axe in there somewhere. He could stab Victor Crowley with a shotgun. He has his typical butcher knife. Um, I think that's about it. He had that little claw thingy too that he got that one guy in the face with. He has access to whatever freaking weapons you want to use, right? Victor Crowley, that means he has his hatchet, and then he also has his his freaking sander. Now, yeah, he has a sander that he used on somebody. Now, here's the thing, though. Let's recap this. Let's go over
And
this.
the shovel.
Victor Crowley. Oh yeah, Victor Crowley has some stupid speed. Like he's fast as shit, right? He also doesn't seem to die. Like he just keeps waking back up. Don't know how the fuck that works out, but hey, he's ridiculously strong. He rips people apart. It seems like easily, right? He's just a monster. He's a behemoth. All right. That's what and he seems to be like an expert hunter. Like he seems to be like, you know how they that little thing, like they say, like people from the South, they're like really good at like, hunting and being aware of their surroundings. Like he really seems like he has a really good understanding of what's around him, and he knows how to hunt, because he lives in the backwoods. Michael Myers, very stealthy. He does possess superhuman strength and durability. He seems not to be able to be mortally wounded by things that you would assume would kill him. I mean, he got shot the hell up and then dropped in a mine. But I'm assuming that if the blow was to be like ridiculously fatal, like them dropping a stick of dynamite on top of him, then I'm assuming that possibly would have killed him, or else they would have allowed it to happen. So they needed him to crawl out of that mine shaft in order to prevent that from happening whatsoever. But he seemed to survive a freaking a gas explosion in part 2. So he has a high level of durability, and he's been shot numerous times and still keeps ticking. So both of these characters seem like they have really high levels of durability. And I don't know. This is going to be a very interesting bout. So, what do you think? Who do you honestly think walks away with the W in a random encounter between these two characters.
All right, so I'm going to break it down. Not as if that sounds familiar. All right, part one, because I haven't.
Who else breaks it down?
Yeah. So all right. So look, speed. Victor. Speed. He's definitely got speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to strength, right, it's hard to say because it's not fair. It's all right. So analyzing 4, 5, and 6, you don't really see him doing anything specifically overly strong. You do. No, all right.
He picks that one guy up and he like crushes his
I was
jaw,
going to
doesn't
say
he?
you don't get to see if that's his full potential. Do you know? Where I feel like I did see Victor's pretty much full potential. So when I say right, so in I don't know which one it is, but he picks the girl in 6. I think he hits the girl, stabs the girl, and lifts her up and puts her on the wall. Yeah, that's pretty strong. In part 5, the dad. Oh my god, he was like, if you see Biff from Back to the Future, yeah, they got a bully. He's like a horrible father. Do you remember he hit the mom or something?
Yeah.
He was like acting like Biff. Yeah, it was just over the top. But he picked him up, and he was a big guy. He picked him up and put him on top of in some electric thing.
Oh, you mean when he picked him up and threw him? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty. But I don't know if you could have picked him over his head, which Victor has on part 1. He picked someone over the head. Now that's not easy.
And ripped them apart.
So going by that, I'm going to give strength to Victor. It's only because it's not fair. It's hard to be fair because we didn't see him do that. He did, and it's super strength. But I'm just saying Victor a bit stronger. Now that's speed and strength of Victor, right? Now brains, I would say Michael's definitely smarter, right? Now durability, right? I will give it to Michael. The reason why is that.
Ooh, look. Here's the only hard part.
Let me say why.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So Victor gets hit with a shovel, which I said in the last one, and he goes down. Yeah, he goes down for a good few seconds, and this girl hit him with a shovel. I'm not saying I wouldn't go down with a shovel, but someone who seems to be as strong as him went down pretty easy. Okay, he got up. Then he was shot once, and he went down. He stayed down for a while. He did get up again. Now, Michael, at the end of part 5, a girl came with a metal pole. She started hitting him. Now, he did go back, but he didn't fall, you know. And he was shot. Was it part 4? Tough fuck. And it took a while before he went down. So when it comes to durability, he doesn't seem to feel pain like Victor. He gets hurt. Michael doesn't seem to feel it. So when it comes to durability, he seems to like be more durable. He can withstand pain, being shot, being stabbed, all these things. So I would give that to him. Now stealth, I mean, that goes without saying. You hear Victor coming a mile away. I know he's good in the forest, and there's a couple of times he does appear, but most of the time
he just pops up.
You know, you like shit and start running. You don't see Michael until he's just about to kill you. That's the thing. Now,
like when he got out of that rocking chair, that shit was funny.
I'm just saying, when it comes down to and brains, it's Michael. But stealth, like Michael you would only see him just before you get the knife. Victor, you'd hear him before you see him. Do you know what I mean? And if you want, but mostly, so I will say stealth and durability, Michael. Brains, Michael. Strength, speed, agility to Victor. So, but
I will say this though. All right, so look, so even though I haven't watched the Hatchet movies, right? I have watched some Hatchet montages, and just to kind of get more familiar with the character, what he's able to do, what he's not able to do. And one scene, this fool, look, check it out. Yeah, he does go down. This man took like a shotgun blast or some shit to the head and got right back up. And he's taken multiple gunshot wounds like Michael, and he's got back up. The only thing that I can say though with what you're saying is that Michael seems to be able to stand his ground and take that punishment versus Victor, who seems to like take it on a mortal level, like take it, but then he's able to just resurrect and come back up.
Yeah, he does get back up for sure. Like there's no doubt. I'm just saying, he was shot once with a handgun and he went down for a while. He got up. Michael at the end of 4 was like shotguns,
Shot
all
the
the police
hell, yeah.
shooting him, and he was just standing there. He did fall down that shaft.
The mine shaft.
I'm just saying is, and there was other times when that girl was hitting him as hard as she could with this pole, and his head was going like that. Victor went down with a slap of a stick with well, no, it wasn't a stick; it was a shovel. Yeah. I know it depends on how hard you hit and all that, but the bottom line is that he goes down, he gets cries, he gets hurt. Remember that something happened to his leg and he was, Michael, don't phase him. If you put an axe in his side, he'd still come for you.
Did they hit it? They never hit Michael with an axe though, did they?
No, I'm just saying it just feels like if you stab him, he was stabbed, and if you hurt him and stuff like that.
You know what's weird? It doesn't seem like it only feels like we've seen Michael get shot. I feel like we haven't hit by cars and shit like that, or like fall or something.
Yeah, there's
but I don't think we've ever seen him like take an axe to the head or take an axe to the back or something.
That's Jamie Lee in H2O, his head, but that's
that's a different.
No, you're right. I forgot about that. He was hit by a car as well, which is a big. I mean, it was a 4x4, wasn't it? And they hit him and he flew off. But the point is he took it. He didn't say nothing. Yeah. But so when it comes to durability, now if you put these two in the ring without weapons, I think Crowley takes him.
Oh hell yeah, definitely.
I think if you put them in the ring with weapons, I think Crowley still gets him.
Yeah.
Do you think Michael's clever enough to maybe somehow use his weapons more better? I mean, he did have a shotgun, but he didn't shoot it. But I'm just saying I still think Crowley. Now, in saying that, if you're in a house on your own and you know there was a killer there, if Crowley, you'd hear him coming. Now you got to run fast to get out of this house before he gets you, right?
Yeah, because that dude, once he gets started, it's over.
Oh yeah, but if he comes shouting and running down the stairs, and if you hit him hard enough, he may go down long enough for you to get out. But with Michael, you won't see him there, you won't hear him, and the last thing you see is that's it. So I think if you're alone in the house, I think Michael would get you first. I do. I think he's smarter, he's stealthier, he would get you. Not saying that Crowley won't. I'm just saying there's a chance with Crowley you could hear him. You'd have to go fast and you'd have to hit him hard. But I think hitting him hard might be enough to knock him down and let him cry for a second. I'm only going by part 1, by the way, just in case.
Yeah.
But
I think your assessment is right though. I think that in both scenarios, Crowley will probably take the win.
Supreme victory.
Mainly because we've seen fucking Crowley. Well, I haven't seen it, but I've watched montages. I haven't watched part 2 and 3, but I've watched part 1.
Saying that Crowley could win because he
you don't like him, I know, but the truth of the matter is this.
It's like I'm defending Crowley now over like Madman Mars, which we was fighting against him, but
you feel like you're cheating. It's okay. Yeah. But Crowley, I feel like has displayed like his full potential of strength. And the fact that he could just rip limbs off like effortlessly, I think that says a lot.
I was going to say strength. Like, look, Michael might be able to do that because there was a part in he grabbed some dude who thought he was the Fonz, in part 4 or 5, and he kind of just grabbed and crushed him. And second of all, in one of again, he caught some guy's face and crushed his face. But
I'm saying but you have to really take into account like the amount of energy needed in order to do that. Michael seemed like he needed to exert a little bit more energy. He did it, which is still an amazing feat. But he needed to exert more energy in order to make it happen. Victor Crowley is just like, take this arm off of here. Get that arm off of here. Like he just does it effortlessly, which means that dude just has like stupid strength, like just for no reason.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. But there is one more thing that could be the turn here that really gives Crowley the advantage. And I'm only going by what we've seen because what we don't see in the background, he could be lifting cars over his head for all we know, right? I'm just saying. But
right.
Is it Daniela, the little girl, Jamie, when she's in part 5, I think it was the end of 5, when she's with that other little kid. She's on the floor and he picks up the knife and he's going to stab. And the girl comes along and she grabs Michael's hand to stop him from stabbing, and he wasn't. I mean, he did get out of it, but she was able to hold his hand. I can't see her being able to do that. Once Victor Crowley goes to do that, I can't imagine anyone stopping it with one hand. And she was able, just briefly, but she was able to hold him. And I was like, yeah, Victor would have been able. No, that wouldn't happen. You know.
Let's make this a little bit more interesting. How about this? How about Victor Crowley versus Michael Myers and the Thorn cult? And then we throw in Jamie with her little clown costume with her pair of scissors just to make it interesting. Do you think
Crowley would win? Because the Thorn crowd were a bunch of idiots. They were stupid as shit. I mean, how did
they broke Michael out of jail though? They broke him out of jail. They have it. They broke Michael out of jail. They blew up the
I know,
jail,
but you see,
had guns and whatnot.
Did you see the police? Like, it wasn't really the hardest place to go for. Also, I mean, they're stupid as shit.
What I'm trying to say is like they were tactical enough in order to break into a prison and break Michael Myers out. Is what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but then they can't trust their people because the girl helped Jamie get out, and so you can't trust her. And then they spent the whole rest of the film trying to find them, and it's like they didn't even know what they were doing. So I would say in general they didn't come across too
bright.
Yeah, or worrying. I think Michael still was the main.
I think, look, here's the thing. I think they played them up to be tactical, but then we have no other evidence of them being tactical other than them breaking Michael out of jail.
Because like
everything else seemed to be really stupid.
Jamie, that baby was the most important thing to what they do, and that Jamie got away with the baby, with help of one of their own people. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, look, I know you're trying to help Michael win, but I prefer Michael as a character. I wish I could.
Yeah, definitely. Michael's the overall better character.
I do like Michael more as a character.
Unbiased.
But I'm trying to be like
unbiased.
I'm not. It's hard, but by going what I'm seeing, I just see
Crowley's gonna win. Crowley's gonna win. That's what I'm saying.
I'll give
I just want to see if I just wanted to see if given some elevated playing fields, would Michael still walk away with the W? But again, these Thorn people, they're nothing more than humans. It's not like they have any supernatural feats. Crowley's gonna run through their ass. Jamie's gonna try to stab him with some scissors, and he's gonna go whack her stupid ass. And then it's just gonna be a showdown between him and Mike, and they're gonna stab each other up. But again, I really feel like Crowley is just gonna seriously just rip Michael Myers apart, and it's not even gonna be fair.
There is another scenario that I could give you where Michael might have the advantage. So if you've got an abandoned warehouse full of all kinds of tools and any weapon you could get hold of apart from guns, we'll say, any machinery, equipment, and he's on one end and Michael's at the other, and they have to find each other and beat it. I think Michael would easily find a way to outsmart him and take him down and kill him, because bottom line is he is strong and he can kill.
You have to have something like a fucking meat grinder in there in order to you have to have something to destroy every inch of Victor Crowley.
I agree. I still think Michael's clever enough. He seemed more stealthy and clever enough to use what's around him more than Victor. But again, it would be tough because he just didn't display enough for me to say he could beat Victor. He just didn't.
Yeah.
So sorry, Halloween fans.
So,
I wish Michael.
I'm a huge Halloween fan.
I even picked 6 over that hatchet.
Yeah.
That's barely. A lot. So just so everyone knows, I'm not being biased to one particular character.
Definitely.
I don't like hatchet. But
this is a huge unbiased take from both of us. I adore Michael Myers. Michael Myers is a way more interesting character than Victor Crowley. But again, if these two just had a random encounter, and that's the fun thing about these episodes, it puts 2 random characters against each other who will never ever see each other.
Well,
and we just have to just logically try to present an argument for who would win. And then if it's lopsided, if it's 2 one-sided, we try to find ways to kind of even it out and make it a little bit fun. So What do you guys think in the comment section down below? Do you guys think that Victor Crowley is just going to decimate Michael Myers, just destroy him completely, rip him limb from limb? Or do you think do you think we're like under lowballing Michael and he can actually do a lot more than what we are leading on to believe? But remember, this is Thorn Michael. So you have to take information from part 4, 5, and 6. Do not come to me like, hey, in H2O, he did this, or in Resurrection, he got kicked by Busta Rhymes. Like, I don't want to hear that. Use something from the Thorn trilogy. If you guys are gonna present an argument.
Yeah, I've got one more scenario. Right, get Michael Myers with Busta Rhymes against Victor Crowley.
Yo, Mikey,
with some karate kicks and shit. I don't know. You never know. But yeah,
maybe. But
Resurrection
yeah, so
doesn't seem so bad anymore. All right.
Resurrection is still worse than those films.
It's bad, but I don't know. It might be more.
It's worse than those films. I don't know. I would have to. Maybe we got to make the worst Halloween movies. I don't know.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since I saw it, but yeah.
But I got all. It's funny because I got all the. I think I got all of them on 4K other than the Rob Zombie ones. But anyway, that's the Terrordome episode for today. Random Encounters edition. Let us know in the comment section down below. Who do you think will win? Do you think Victor Crowley will walk away with the W? Or do you think Michael Myers, the Thorn Michael Myers, will walk away with the W? Let us know in the comment section down below. Make sure to go to Dale Boy's channel. Check him out. I was about to say Cinema Chop Shop. Movie Mash reviews. It'll be tagged in the comments at the top. So hit the description, hit him, and then hit like and subscribe to any of his videos. Check his stuff out. He does some amazing stuff. Try to get this man out of retirement. Don't forget to hit up my channel because you're already here. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and all that good stuff. And you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. Hope you guys are having a magnificent day. Adios, homies.